So my band recently secured a really good placement in an upcoming movie, and I want to tell you about how we got that. The movie is actually a documentary. It's called Blake Edwards, A Love Story in 24 Frames, and it's all about the director, Blake Edwards, who did 10 and the Pink Panther films and Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it appears on the American Masters series on PBS on August 27th. So the placement itself is actually a song we wrote for the movie. The producer asked us to write a song that would appear in the end credit sequence of the movie, written for the movie, kind of about the subject matter. And the placement itself, we got $5,000 for it, plus all the residuals that will come from the various airings of the movie. We also retained all the rights to exploit the song ourselves, and therefore get all the residuals from those exploitations ourselves. So a pretty good deal. Now that's not necessarily a top dollar placement. You'll hear all sorts of stories about people getting, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 for a placement in a major motion picture. And of course that has something to do with it, right? This is a documentary film. It's lower budget to begin with. They don't have that kind of money. And the fact that they don't have that kind of money plays into the reason why we got this gig. And it's not just because we were willing to take something cheap. It's not just because we're cheap. It's because we've been following along with these guys for a while. Now, here's what I mean. The editor of the motion picture is a guy I've known since middle school. All right, now keep following me here. We used to do movies together when we were kids. And then when he got more into filmmaking in college and beyond, he would give me a call and say, hey, can I use some of your music for my film? It's all free. There's nothing I can do for you. And I'm like, of course, buddy, use whatever you want. And then later he would call and say, hey, you know what? I got like $100 I can give you for a song. Can we do that? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's do that. And then later he started moving into more and more high production films until one day he was editing a movie called The Bronx, USA, which was a documentary all about this area in the Bronx where all these great artists came from. And what they wanted to do was use a Green Day song, The Time of Your Life, for this end sequence in the movie. But that cost $40,000, so they couldn't get it. So when editing the sequence, my buddy put in one of our songs and showed it to the producer just to show him, how the sequence goes. And the producer's like, wow, that song is perfect. Where have you been hiding that? Can we get that song? So they gave us a call. And we were like, yeah, you can have the song. And so we sold it for $2,000 for that one. But what it did was it established a relationship now with the producer. The producer of that documentary, who went on to produce the documentary we're just featured in, he became a fan. He came out and saw our shows. He bought our records. He bought a t-shirt, for God's sake. So this producer became a fan. So when it came time to do this latest documentary, he called us directly and said, I want you to write a song for the documentary. We got paid twice as much as we did for the last one. And here we are, okay? So you may be saying, yeah, JT, that sounds like nepotism to me. That sounds like the whole idea of it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I would say yes. Yes, it is. But that's the point. All the starving artists that you know now are going to become highly paid professionals later, right? I'm 130 years old, okay? This took a long time to get from there to here, to get from a point where all this networking that I did as a kid is paying off now. And yes, it is a case of who you know and what you know. When that producer finally gives you a call and says, write a song for me, if that song sucks, the producer doesn't call again. Okay, so you've got to nurture both angles. You've got to nurture your network. You've got to go out and meet people and stay in contact with them. And you've got to nurture your craft. You've got to keep working on your craft so when that opportunity does come, you're there to seize on it. Now, does this mean I don't need to network with sync agents or music supervisors or anything like that anymore? No, not at all. It doesn't mean that at all. I'm out there busting my ass trying to meet more music supervisors, more sync agents, get more placements, get higher paid placements. The networking doesn't stop, so keep at it.